Okay, so if you talk about question number one, but you just look at over there, the easiest question they're asking for. They're asking for what an isotope of silicon is represented by the symbol silicon, right? 14 and 29. And we know that the smaller one is always proton number. The smaller one is always proton number, and the larger one is always what? Nucleon number, right? We know this. Now they're asking for number of protons. We know that the smaller one is actually proton number, which tells you the number of protons present in the nucleus, right? So proton number of protons, baat ek hi hai. So if they ask for number of protons, you can say that we have 14 protons over there, right, bacho?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Right, sir.
And then proton number means we just have protons over there, and nucleon number means that it is a sum of protons and neutrons. So if they're asking for neutrons, so what you need to do, you need to subtract the smaller value from the capital one, right? So right now the capital one is nucleon number, which is 29. So if you want to find out neutrons, so the subtract will be like
15.
this, and it will give you 15 neutrons. Is that right, bacho?
Right, sir.
Yes. Then they are asking for what? They are asking for define the term relative atomic mass. They are asking for the definition of relative atomic mass. Yes, word is saying relative. Relative means we need to relate this with anyone, right? So you need to keep remember, if whenever you are asking for relative atomic mass, so this relative is always with carbon. You always need to relate the mass of an atom with the mass of carbon 12. Carbon 12, right? You need to compare it with carbon 12. Otherwise, और कोई element नहीं है इससे relate करके आप इसको निकाल सकें. So keep remember this relative atomic mass का मतलब है आपने क्या करना है, relate करके निकालना है, और relate किसको करेंगे आप? Carbon 12 को करेंगे. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
You can say that this is actually the mass of an atom compared with the mass of carbon 12, right? Or you can even say that this is actually the 1/12 mass of carbon, right, Bacho? You need to keep remember this. Okay, we are just waiting for Azan, and the one who can solve the question number 2, you are allowed to solve. Mass of any atom, किसी भी atom का mass जब आप carbon 12 से compare करते हो, तो वो बनता है आपके पास relative atomic mass. So you need to say that the mass of an atom compared with the mass of 1/12 mass of carbon. You can say that the mass of, or you can 1/12 mass of carbon. You can even say that 1/12, right? So this is actually one of the definition that you need to keep remember for 1 mark, right? This is actually the mass of any element. Any element के atom का अगर आपने mass निकालना है, so it will be known as relative atomic mass because you are finding it by a relation, right? So relative atomic mass, और ये होता है average atomic mass. ये निकालते कैसे हो? It will be 1/12 mass of any carbon, right, बच्चों? Then the second question is saying that 2 isotopes of phosphorus are given to you. You can see this, what they gave you, right? They gave you what? Phosphorus 15 and 31 and phosphorus 15 and 32. These are actually nucleon number and proton number they gave us, right? And now they're asking for a state one difference and one similarity between these 2 isotopes. In those isotopes, what you are finding and the similarity and what you are finding the difference. So it's quite obvious for you over here in the question that the same thing is this, the smaller one. So we know that the smaller one is what? The smaller one is proton number. So you can say that similarity is same proton number, right? And what is the difference? But so if you focus over there on the top, so the mass number is different, or the atomic mass is different, or you can even call this as a nucleon number. So you can say that different nucleon number. Is that right, Bacho?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So this is a simple thing that you can simply do this. Okay. So I am skipping part B right now and part C because it is concerned with ionic and covalent bonding. I am moving towards part D. So if you talk about part D, but it is again very simple question. They are asking for what? Number of neutrons, protons, and electronic configuration. We know that the proton number is 15. So definitely the number of protons are 15 right now, right? And if you talk about the number of neutrons, so it can be found out by subtracting the smaller one from the capital one. So 31 minus 15 will give you 16, right, Bacho?
Yes, sir.
Now
Yes.
you can simply see over here that right now the element is actually neutral. This is neutral, no charge over phosphorus right now, not it is positive or not, it is negative. So this is neutral. So when neutral, any atom is neutral, we know that protons and electrons are same. So that means we also have 15 electrons. And if we talk about the filling of electrons in the shell, we know that maximum the first shell can contain is 2 electrons. Then second shell can be filled by 8 electrons, and the remaining will be in the third shell. Right, Bacho, or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay, so Bacho, can you solve the question number 3? It is easy, very easy peasy question. Right,
Yes,
do this quickly, Bacho, and I want कि आप करने के बाद मुझे इसके नहीं कर पाए उनके लिए ये question easy हो जाए. देखें भाई बच्चों, you just need to look at over here that how can we solve this question. They are saying that which one is anion. They are saying which one is anion, मतलब कौन सा वाला negatively charged particle है. So if you want to find out the negative charge particles, you need to keep remember it must have more electrons. It must have more electrons because electron is causing negatively charge in the element or in the atom. So remember, if electrons are greater, so the negative charge is going to be greater, right? So you just look at over here, which one is having, you can see this, electrons are lesser, electrons are equal, electrons are equal, electrons are equal, and over here, the electrons are greater. So you can simply see that E is actually negatively charged particle. That's all. Then they are saying about cations. So cations are positively charged particles. And if you talk about positively charged particles, so positively charged particles means we have greater number of protons over there. ज़्यादा protons होने वाले. Just look at over here. We have 1 protons and 0 electrons. So over here we have more protons, right? And these are equal, lesser, equal, and over here we have greater protons, right? So you can simply say that K, A, and I will be the right answer for cations. Then they are asking for noble gases, and the noble gases are actually having 8 electrons in the outermost shell. So if you talk about helium, so helium ka proton number is 2, so it has 2 electrons in the outermost shell. If we talk about neon, so its proton number is 10, so it must have 10 electrons. First shell contain 2, second shell contain 8. Then it is having 2 electrons, it is having 10 electrons, right? And if you talk about argon, so it is 18, so it will be 2, 8, 8, and the total number of electrons are 18. And you must need to remember this, bacho, that if you talk about noble gases, so they must have same number of protons and electrons. Do not use the wrong concept. Every element wants to be the same as electronic configuration, same as noble gases. So जब वो electron receive करेंगे, donate करेंगे, they must have noble gas electronic configuration. लेकिन आपने noble gas कैसे find out करना है, जिसके अंदर electrons तो 2, 8 या 10, 18 हो सकते हैं, 2, 18 या 10 हो सकते हैं, but उसके protons भी same हो. ये ना हो कि 8 electrons हो और 8 protons हो और 10 electrons हो, तो वो noble gas नहीं होगा, वो ion होगा. ठीक है ना? तो electron protons same होने चाहिए. So just find it out where it is 2, 8, and 18. So you can see this over here. Over here we have 10, 18, 18, 18. So these are 4 columns, 4 rows. Over here we are finding 10, 18, and 18. But the thing is, देखिए यहाँ पर electron और proton same है, यहाँ same नहीं है, ठीक है ना? यहाँ same है. So जहाँ same है, that is actually the noble gases. You need to keep remember. So it is D and G. That is right answer. Then they're asking for halogens. Halogens having 7 electrons in the outermost shell. So we know that fluorine, chlorine are halogens, fluorine, bromine. Fluorine is having 9 electrons and protons, and chlorine having 7 electrons and protons, and bromine having 35 electrons and protons, right? So over here, which one having 17 electron? Over here, you can see this, it is having 17 electrons and 17 protons. So F will be the right answer for this. If we talk about group 1, so in group 1, we have lithium, sodium, potassium. So lithium having 3 proton, 3 electron, and sodium has 11 proton, 11 neutrons, and potassium have 19. So which one is having 19 electrons and protons? It is H. Then they are saying nucleon number किसका same है? We know that nucleon number क्या होता है बच्चों? Nucleon number is actually the sum of protons and neutrons. The sum of protons and neutrons किसका same है? This is 1, this is 12, this is 14, this is 20, this is 32, this is 35, this is 40, this is 39, this is 40. So it means G and I are same. Right, then they're asking for the substance or the element or the ion which is going to cause acidity in the solution. So always remember H positive ion are the reason of acidity in the solution. So which one is H positive ion? We know that H is actually 1 proton in this. So when it forms positive, so it loses its electrons, so it becomes positive. So you can see there's 1 proton without electron. So it will be A, right? And I just tell you the definition in the first question, right, in the class, and then that was actually relative atomic mass is the mass of an atom compared with the 1/12 mass of carbon or the mass of carbon 12. So you know that carbon 12 can give 12 mass wala carbon. So right now we have 2 carbons, B and C, both are the carbons, but the atomic mass of carbon, which is B, is right answer. Okay? Or if you talk about the last part of this, but so you need to see this.
Can you repeat 7?
Yes,
Part
carbon 12. Carbon 12. If you talk about carbon 12, so
Part 7. H plus 1.
part 7 is H positive ion is what? Hydrogen का atomic number 1 होता है, ठीक है ना? Mass number भी 1 होता है, और अगर वो positive 1 charge बना ले, तो it must have 1 proton. Electron एक ही होगा, वो donate कर देगा तो 0. Neutron 1 minus 1 is also 0. So ये कौन follow कर रहा है? Hydrogen ion A show कर रहा है, ठीक है ना?
Okay, sir.
And last part, they are asking for why B and C are isotopes of the same element. Right now, they are not giving you the proton number and nucleon number, so you must need to define the answer in number of protons and neutrons or in subatomic particles. So you can say that B and C having same number of protons लिखिएगा आप यहाँ पर, क्या लिखेंगे? Same number of protons. Proton number ना लिखें इधर same number of protons लिखें, and ये एक नंबर मिल गया, और दूसरा नंबर मिलेगा आपको लिखने के लिए and different number of neutrons. आपने यहाँ number of neutrons लिखना है, nucleon number नहीं लिखना है, क्योंकि जब उसने उसको दिया ही नहीं है, so how can you conclude by the neutron number and proton number? So you must need to use protons and neutrons to explain your answer in part B. Is that clear, every one of you?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so